For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a zempire video on a brand new, semi-new or updated tent I should probably say, from Zempire. So with me here today I've got the updated / new Zempire Aero Pro TC TL V2. A mouthful, I appreciate. So Zempire obviously is a brand, New Zealand brand, all built on about quality and basically making the best possible tent they could possibly do, almost regardless of price. This is the Aero range, so it's available in a polycotton or a polyester. So this is the polycotton one. I've done a separate video for the polyester, which you can check out on our YouTube channel. So this one is the Pro, it's in their Pro series, and TC refers to technical cotton. And then they have two sizes available, a TL and a TXL. So sort of almost a 5-person and a 6, both very generous. So again, we're just focusing really on the TLTC. What we've got here is a product that's been very sort of popular in the years gone by, and going forward this is the new V2 version 2 version of it, and they've made a massive amount of change to it really, and really kind of give it a massive sort of facelift and loads of new features that we're going to talk through this video. The main ones, of course, which I'll come straight to, is the design of it slightly changed. Living area is about the same. We've got this really lovely nice open canopy, and it actually now makes the canopy section usable, whereas probably previously it was just a kind of slope down and you couldn't really utilize it. What they've done to do this is actually put an additional beam on the front of it and actually increase the general height of it as well, so it's a lot more usable space. Even though it's an open canopy from a tent, you can buy an additional kind of awning wall kit, which comes with sort of 3 components. One, a wall to completely sit off, which looks something like this. Then you also have a wall which is basically purely mesh, which looks something like this. Now these two components can be joined together, so you can have the mesh in place and then almost the wall in place above it, or even gull winging out with some additional poles that come and supplied with it to create you a canopy but still have airflow. And again, that looks like something like this. So versatility is really the key. What they've also done by actually separating it is it makes the pack size and pack weight a little bit less on the main body of the tent, especially seeing they've obviously made it a little bit bigger, so inherently is about the same weight-ish thereabouts than its predecessor. Other main big talking points is the fact that Zempire have now moved to a single inflation point, so you can have one point pumps the whole tent up continuously. You get a manual stirrup pump supply with it, but personally if you're using a single inflation point, I would always recommend using an electric pump, just because you can monitor the pressure, and going all from one point you have to have breaks in between you use the manual, but also due to the tube size as well, it takes a lot of air. So for me, sit back, relax, press a button, as we've done in our Attwoolls pitching video, you can check out what we've done, and for that video we've actually used the polycotton TXL, which is the largest version, and it does look a bit of a doddle when you do that for sure. So even if you've got a single inflation point, you've got multiple deflation points located down it. Now, in theory, there's only one point you can actually inflate this from, which is here, but Zempire will be providing a valve that allows you to pump up them individually if, God forbid, there is an issue. Joys of actually having a single inflation point is you then have roof beams running throughout the tent, so you can get it looking absolutely sharp regardless if you're not the expert on the campsite. And you can see it's like a drum, and it gives a lot more stability to the tent because you've got that middle ridge running directly through. In terms of the concept, really quite nicely designed. This beautiful kind of, I wouldn't say it's cream, it's kind of a nice colour, and they've got a contrast to it, but you've still got the touches and detail with the guidelines and even sort of the trim around the outside. And that's one thing Zempire do in abundance, is all about attention to detail, the small little things that do make a big difference. And you know, it's proof of why you pay the money you do. It's for these little touches. Things like all of the pegging points, for example, have a real nice strong steel loop. You peg it through, it's going to last a long time. Adjustable webbing straps at every single point as well, again to give that a bit more rigidity, and they are sort of double stitched and reinforced. Other things to note is that even the guide points have a really nice gold metal puller. Again, it's going to make it allow to last. Because it's a New Zealand brand, naturally they probably have slightly hotter summers and colder winters than we do in the UK, so it's perfect for the UK market. Not only because it's polycotton, it's got a breathable part to it, so on a warmer day the weave will expand, allow air to pass through, and a cold day contract and keep the warmth in. So you get the best of both worlds, so it'll be a lot cooler as well. So certainly with the UK summers we're having recently, it's certainly a testament to that. Not only that, you do get a longer lifespan, so you are going to get more from the product itself. Naturally, the weight does go up, and that's one of the sort of slightly downsides to the polygon fabric. It's better in every single way, but it's heavier, it's a bit more bulkier, and it's more money naturally because it's that better fabric. But because we've got the New Zealanders to it, every panel has got something breathable to it. So we've got a really nice mesh part here, along with the PVC kind of crystal clear windows that are slightly tinted as well to get that extra amount of privacy. So we've got windows to look at here, big mesh panel again here, side door with a brow canopy pole, and we've got an aluminium pole as well, so it's nice and sturdy. But behind the door, what it says, you can open up. There's a really nice sort of tape again there to deflect the rain away from it. You can roll that back, and you've got a full mesh door, and that's mirrored on the other side. The other side admittedly doesn't have a brow canopy pole, so if it is trucking down with rain, you want to go into your main living area, utilise this door here. The rain's going to come down, drip off, and go from that point. So even on a day where you get intermittent showers, you can have this door open. You've got sufficient cover from the rain, but you still have the airflow directly into the actual tent itself. Low-level ventilation points down here as well, again to help circulate the air and help fight off condensation. Admittedly, you probably won't get much condensation in relative to this tent, just due to the natural breathability of it and the more higher mesh. Storm straps located at the front and the back to give great torsion into the roof. You've got the roof beams anyway, but it's going to give more structure and be really nice and strong. Like I said, headroom height, quite nice and generous, and I think the flexibility of this, even though they do it in kind of the larger version, which is the TXL, i.e. the 6-person, for me I really do like the size of the TL, and I would go to the point of saying, even though it is a 5-person, I can see couples going for this for sure. Premium, polycotton, structurally strong, it ticks a lot of boxes. It's big without being too big for those smaller families, or i.e. couples, and it's very generous in terms of the internal size. But I'll tell you what, let's go inside and see what it's all about and talk for a load more features that the Aero has to offer. So now we're inside, you can probably appreciate for kind of the main zones you've got into the tent itself. Now we'll start kind of at the front and work our way back throughout the tent. So we've got a really quite nice, generous sort of front section. And I think that kind of open canopy really does help to make it feel very light and sort of airy. Windows either side again, so we have privacy when we want to, but also have the mesh and breathability. And you can quite happily, put something like a stove or something, or even a seating out here on a nice day and utilize that sort of space. And for me, that headroom height here makes a huge difference how they've changed that as well. Because you've got those sort of beams running throughout it, you've got a single inflation point, but you have isolation taps on each beam. So God forbid you did have an issue, you can isolate each one, rectify the problem in that, take the beam out, replace it, repair it, whatever you need to, put it back in, and you're good to go. So again, it's a very thought out system. It's something actually that Zempire have done in their top end tent range, about $5,000, the Fortress and things like that. It's had the same system, so it is very much tried and tested. We move in kind of to the main living section here, and the first thing you can see, actually, we've got a big opening. Now, what this basically is Zempire's 360 door. So, as the name suggests, we've got a door panel that goes nicely and neatly in there, and you can quite happily just zip it up and go for it. Again, small touch of details, little pullers that have little luminous parts to them, really nice oversized zips, again, just to make it really quite nice and robust. So we've got the normal door, like you can see there, but literally built into that, we've got a full mesh part to it. So we can have a airflow directly in. So when you've got the open front and you've got a light on at night, you can have obviously the ventilation, but not have the bugs come and spoil the party as well. And of course, you can sort of double that up by using the wall kit that you can purchase with it, if you really want to have doubly the amount of mesh. This door can also be opened up halfway. So what you can find if I bring the zips, so you've got 2 zips there to here. You can open it halfway, toggle it back, allow a bit of entrance in, creating a bit of dead space there, perfect for cooking or storing necessarily behind it. And when you don't want to utilise it, chuck it down and then have a lovely airflow directly into the section. So we've got a really nice big oversized beam in here, and the door itself goes into the pocket. So great structure, slightly more upright than its previous model. So again, headroom height, me being 6'2", stand up pretty much in the corner, not dead to the centre side, but that's going to help with things like furniture, pushing it closer to the edge. In the central point, lovely room, and that's where I think it makes a big difference. It feels generally more spacious in comparison to its predecessor, and it does feel like a new tent really for me. Dual doors we've talked on the other side, Both have mesh built onto them now, so you have that airflow in. One thing you've got as well is your sky windows allow light to come in when you want that level of privacy. The curtains you get supplied with it, again, even that is still is polycotton to allow that breathability. But more importantly, what you can do is you can actually position it out a bit. So I'll probably utilise this one as an example. So there's two zips on there. So what it allows you to do is almost create like a, call it a gusset kind of thing, where it opens up so you can still have ventilation coming up, but still retain your privacy. So you haven't got a compromise between one or the other. The zips also go fully to the top. So you want to cover the sky windows and get that, stop the sun coming in. You can utilise that as well. And that's the same for even in the front awning section. If I pop that zip down, when you want to take it down, simply pop it down as far as you want to go, and you can just roll it, and it almost nestles into its own little pocket. So that neatly goes down and sort of sits in its own pocket. So much so it doesn't actually need a little retainer clip for that matter. So other things you mentioned is actually you've got hanging points for lanterns located obviously in the centre part, and also there's one in the canopy as well. And you've got basically little Velcro tabs leading down to a cable entry point located down the bottom, which again makes it you can have your main socket nicely in the tent without leaving the door open, and it goes through all really smartly to there. Previously mentioned, two mesh doors either side, help the airflow, and that sort of combined with the lower level ventilation points in the windows, having that ability to do so works really smartly. From a bedroom point of view, it's actually situated as kind of a 3 and a 2, or 2 and a 3, and you've got the multi-function bedroom system with Zempire that allows you to really kind of create the opening you want to. So you can create your master bedroom or have essentially 3 separate sleeping compartments. So when you do so, when you have it like you probably most likely will do, it'll be a 3 and a 2, which leaves you a 2 metre and then a 135. So more than happy to create a bedroom section as well. And again, it's just those finer details with little cable entry points into bedroom section located at the top, and located behind it also we've got a hanging point for a lantern, quite nice and neatly. Big mesh panels in the front top part of it to allow airflow in when you need to as well, and you've got different doors in place. So if you wanted to, you can actually just go into the almost middle, we'll call it a one-person bedroom, like so. Big, strong roller bag supplied with it as standard as well. So again, on wheels, makes life a lot easier for pitching and packing away, but it's about 65 centimetres when you have just a single bedroom in place. Alternatively, what you can do is we can open up the main bedroom. So for me, how I see it being used is open up the full part of it. What this enables you to do again is have your master bedroom located here. The divider then sort of, you can toggle that back, roll that back like so, just do a quick job. And then you've got a divider which can zip backwards and toggle back. So you still have that flexibility of creating, like I said, that 2, 2 and a 1, or 3, 2, 3, 2, depending on how you want to kind of do it really. Lots of ventilation points, in fact, I'll leave it open, at the back. So a big nice mesh panel which twins up with kind of a bit more of a breathable material at the back there as well. Storage pockets located down the bottom here, things like your keys, your phones and that sort of stuff, as well as a little pocket located down there to put the front door if you really wanted to. The slightly darker colour of the inner makes a big difference as well. So during the daylight today it seems a lot darker in there, and actually the panelling, which we'll see on the outside in a second, is a darker colour to try and again reduce the overall sort of light inside the actual tent itself. But I'll tell you, let's pick the camera up, get a bit more up close and personal with kind of some of these features, and appreciate them kind of a bit more, in a bit more of a vision. So, like I said, you can see that that's quite a wide bench, and that sits quite comfortably in there, let alone when you add the extra parts onto it. The roof windows and that, and you see the bluebird day, it's when you want to be looking at the view. A door to your left, okay, which obviously is the same on the opposite side here, and we've got that kind of darker material. With the bedroom, you can see the difference between sort of outside and inside with the light coming through the back of there, and you've got obviously hanging points. Clips in bedrooms are reinforced, and then the isolation taps, which again are on every single section. So you can see that roof brace beam system, how smart that looks. Admittedly, the tree isn't doing me any favours there. And then again, hanging points with little Velcro tabs running down to our cable entry point, located right at the bottom there as well. But a good sized beam, really nice and chunky, which is what you want. And it's only sort of recommended to about 7 psi for this as well, but it seems it's absolutely rock solid when it's physically up. Storage pockets, as previously mentioned, located at the back, and you can probably just about see to the vent around the back there. But as we come out, we'll have a little wander around just to truly get a feel for how it is. And I think for me, polycotton wise, in certainly a 5-person tent wise, this is the tent that I do probably like the most. I think it ticks the most boxes. Like I said earlier, it's not necessarily cheap, but what it does give you a lot of features and a lot of specification, and it's for the person who wants, you know, what they want, irrespective of price. Like I said previously, I think generally it kind of works the best, and we see that little brow canopy door on the side there as it works really nicely. So as we head back inside, we can probably have a bit of a general sum up. So I think they've really come on leaps and bounds with certainly the TL model in particular. We've done a separate video on the TXL, just because from the sizing, the beaming, the single point inflation, all these things do kind of marry up to make a really great tent. And for me, like I said a second ago, the go-to tent for polycotton, if you want a high spec, you know, tent for a couple or a small family, I think that just generally ticks a big box with me. Everyone has their bits they love and don't love about it, be it the slight little step into that. That's probably one of the negatives I will say about it, but you then wouldn't get the 360 door and that whole concept. So yeah, all in all, I think really quite good. For more information about sort of all of the features, little nitty bits and bobs, you can always check the link below this video. Take you straight through our website where we've got all information about pack sizes, weights, floor dimensions, prices, bundle deals, accessories. You can go for it. There's a wide range of options you can look at for it itself. But all in all, I think it's a big thumbs up from me with the new Aero V2 TC TL model. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.